Now that we've inserted our first clip into the timeline, let's just spend a couple minutes talking about the timeline and describing its features. First of all, if you want to see more of the timeline, you can expand it by hovering your mouse to the edge, and then you'll see those lines appear. Click, drag, and drop it, and then you can make the timeline bigger. Why would you want to do that? Well, each row of this timeline is called a track. I'm only using 2 tracks right now, but conceivably I might want to use more. And so to keep the tracks visible, I might need to increase the timeline space. However, realistically, 90% of the time I'm only using 2 tracks, an audio track and a video track. So the video track is almost always, my preference is to put the video track on the top and the audio track on the bottom. If you want to switch places, you see these 3 lines, click, drag, and drop it. So now I've put the audio track on the top and the video track on the bottom. But that's the basic timeline. This red vertical bar that you see is called the playhead. The playhead is a visual representation of where we are in this ScreenFlow project. So for example, if I have the playhead all the way to the extreme left, that is the beginning of my presentation. I know it's the beginning because if I look at this counter, it says 0.00. That means I'm all the way at the beginning. If I want to move the playhead, let's say I wanted to play this clip, but I wanted to start in the middle, I would take the playhead and I would drag it to the middle. So now it says 05:15. That's 5 seconds and 15 frames. So remember, there are 30 frames per second, so this is 15/30ths. So that's where I am. If I take it and drag it all the way to the end, that tells me that this clip is 11 seconds and 1 frame long. So the playhead is where you are in the presentation. One final thing about the timeline I want to show you is this bar down here at the bottom. This bar allows you to extend laterally the playhead. Watch what I mean. I can either click the magnifying glass or I can click this bar and drag it. So I'm clicking this bar and dragging it to the right. Now, has this increased the length of my presentation? No. If I go all the way to the right, we can still see that it's 11 seconds in 1 frame. It hasn't changed anything. All it's done is stretched it out. So why would you want to do this? Well, if I was working precisely on this clip and I wanted to make an edit or a cut, it's much easier to do if you've got more real estate to work with. Imagine trying to do something very precise if the clip was represented in a kind of squished format. So that's what this bar does at the bottom. If you're doing something precise and you need to really get into the clip, it's easier to work with if you expand it. On the other hand, once you've got several clips going, it can really be unwieldy, so you need to bring it back down to kind of see your whole project. And that is the timeline.